Today is December 3rd, Wednesday of the first week of Advent. The reflection for the day is based on readings from Prophet Isaiah chapter 25 and Matthew 15. As we know, Advent is a time of waiting in hope, preparing for the coming of Jesus Christ. We light candles, we wait in hope, and we prepare our hearts. But today, the readings remind us of something what God does for us, more than what we do for ourselves. Something that God does for us. And that is, He is not just preparing a place for us in heaven. Rather, He is preparing us for heaven. And He does that in the same way He always does, by feeding us, by strengthening us, and giving us what we need, even before we do not know how to ask for it. Prophet Isaiah gives one of the most beautiful imageries in the scripture, that God is setting a feast for His people. Scriptural scholars give it an allusion to the messianic banquet or the supper of the Lamb. Isaiah says it is not just a simple meal, but a feast of rich food and choice wines, a table overflowing in abundance. And then he says, God will wipe away every tear from their eyes and will destroy death forever. Imagine that. A God who is not only feeding us, but bends down to wipe our tears, like a loving parent leaning over a child who is hurting. This is who God is. Advent is not about us trying to prove that we are worthy. It is about letting God be who He is: loving, merciful, compassionate, generous, and faithful. And then in the gospel, we see Jesus doing exactly what Isaiah had promised. He goes up the mountain, and the people bring Him those who are hurting, the lame, the mute, the blind, the sick. And what does Jesus do? He heals them all. No one is turned away. No one is told that they were too broken or too sinful, too unworthy or too late. Jesus welcomes all of them. He takes them as they are. He gives them what they need. He restores them. Then, after healing and teaching, Jesus says something incredibly down to earth. My heart is moved with pity for them. I have compassion for them. Why? They have been with me for 3 days and they have nothing to eat. It strikes me that people never complained about their physical hunger. They came for healing, yes, but they also came for Him. And Jesus notices their hunger even before they noticed it. And He feeds them by multiplying 7 loaves and a few fishes into a feast for thousands. What a beautiful Advent message! That God sees the hunger in our lives even before we do. He sees the emptiness that we try to hide, the emptiness that we try to fill with trivial pleasures. He sees the exhaustion that we pretend are not there. He sees the loneliness that we try to cover behind our busyness. And his heart is moved with compassion for us. Sometimes we think that we are bothering God if we approach him with our small needs. That God only wants to hear about big things, our dramatic prayers, the moments of crisis. But Jesus shows us the opposite. God cares for us, whether we have enough strength for the day. God cares the ordinary places in our soul, in our hearts, that we feel thin, stressed, and stretched. God is attentive to our real human life. So maybe the question for this first Wednesday of Advent is this: what hunger am I bringing to Jesus? The ones that really hurt. Maybe it is a hunger for peace in my family. Maybe it is a hunger for patience in stressful situations. Maybe it is a hunger for healing in an area that no one else sees, an addiction that I struggle with. Maybe it is the hunger for forgiveness, that my resentment is always brimming over, that my patience have grown thin, hunger for forgiveness. Maybe it is the hunger just to know that God has not forgotten me. Advent is a season when God looks at each of us and says, I see you. I know what you need. Let me feed you. But notice something else in the gospel. Jesus does not create a feast out of nothing. He asks the disciples, what do you have? 7 loaves and a few fishes. Almost nothing in comparison to the vast multitude in front of him. But when we place what is not enough into the hands of Jesus, he multiplies it to abundance. That is also Advent. We bring to God the little that we have, our limited prayer, our imperfect efforts, our tired hearts, our imperfect love. And Jesus blesses it, breaks it, and turns into something more than we have ever imagined. So today, let us come to Jesus with honesty and with trust. Let us bring him our smallness, our hunger, our weakness. Let us place the little we have before God into his hands. And let us allow him to feed us, heal us, and prepare us for the great feast Isaiah promised. The feast wherein every tear will be wiped away, every hunger will be satisfied. This is the God who comes to us this Advent, not distant, not demanding, but tender and generous. A God who sees us, a God who feeds us, a God who never stops giving himself to us. Have a blessed day in the Lord.